It's time for a package from China, but this one, it's a big one. It's time to get into the Pandora jungle, so let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video it's time for the Pandora jungle once again. It's kind of weird because I found a brand new, let's say, Pandora box portable and I was curious what I'm going to get. And guess what? It even comes with a very nice fresh roll carrying bag. But this is a completely different edition. We have seen a lot of different brands, and this is the Pandora Forrest. And here on the medal you can see like we do have like a lot of different versions. But we're going to take a close look at the one at the red bottom, because it's a portable version, but this is absolutely something else. Something I personally never owned here in the Pandora jungle, and I just wanted to see like what are we going to get with it. So let's take a close look and let's do a quick unboxing. What are we going to get with the system itself? First of all, we do have the option for player 2, but we're going to get a shitty controller. And which other controller will work is always the question, because that is, yeah, like a little bit of a problem with these freaking boards. We're going to get a screwdriver, ball top, and some extra parts like buttons. This is different. Normally we're going to get a 2 or 3 amp, but we're going even a 5 amp power supply. Then we're going to get the HDMI cable, so if you want to plug it into a television, and then we're going to get ourselves the USB cable. And the reason why, because sometimes you can use the thing on your game system. Yeah, let's say like you can use the thing like a controller itself. So this model is a completely new definition of portable. Yeah, it's portable, you can bring it with you, but it's not like the portables that we have seen before. The way how they packed it up is very nice, but you can basically lift up this display itself and remove the styrofoam. So the first thing that we need to do is getting the freaking ball top up, otherwise we cannot play. Alright, so that's it. So if I'm saying it correctly, we're going to get ourselves a 7-inch display that is not removable. The only thing you can do is like flip it open. We're going to get ourselves our typical, let's say, Pandora box layout. So let's do a quick overview about this. So the buttons itself are like the long travel, say Chinese versions. Don't really need to forget the freaking plastics that we need to remove, otherwise we can use it. But it's like long travel, not the best quality, but they play okay. The same is for the joystick. Only what I've noticed, this joystick, it's a long traveled one, but what I do like about it, that it has like a very nice feel to it. So I'm guessing it's an octo gate inside, but there's always possibility to switch it out. At the top we're going to get some extra buttons. Here we're going to get the coin pass start that we're going to need in the menu itself. Select home and D-pad, and these, for especially the D-pad, are basically if you're going to use this thing like an arcade stick. Okay, so the right side where we're going to get over here are some extra buttons, and with these buttons you can basically navigate through the menu, setting up the brightness and stuff like that, and even the aspect ratio so far now can sometimes be changed with these things. And last but not least, we're going to get ourselves a display in this indication on how the battery life is if you're going to implement batteries inside of the machine itself. At the bottom we're going to find the compartment. Here we need to put in the battery, so let's do that first. Alright, so next up we need to use the 18650 batteries. And yeah, there are quite a different version out there. To be careful that you're not buying fake ones. But the other thing you need to take consideration, we do have one with a knob. We don't need them with these. We just need to have like both flat sides. So these will fit in perfectly, but take consideration that depending on what kind of portable you're buying. And at the right side we're even going to get some extra buttons for turning it on and off and some other features. Then we're going to get the old school serial port. Yeah, this port you can use it if you can find, and let's say, a special arcade stick for it. But this is an option we're not going to need to use, because we can use the USB connection, of course, for play 2 and 3 and 4. And not last but not least, we're going to get an extra HDMI functionality here at the right side too. Okay, but we're going to get some differences when it comes to the connections. Here we're going to get a completely different layout that we have seen before when you're looking at the normal Pandora book board. To begin with, we're going to get 2 USB ports over there. We're going to get the CF card slot, the tiny micro switch for getting in the setting menu, input for the power supply, an HDMI out and VGA, and then we're going to get an extra USB and the volume controlling wheel. But for people who are not familiar to the Pandora's boxes, the downside to this is sometimes with these portables, if you want to upgrade your main board, you have like a big problem, because you cannot do that at all. Because these are like not your typical lineup of boards, and that's going to be an issue. So here you're having like a side-by-side comparison with the original board or a family board, and here you can see like the connections are different. So upgrading this, let's say, portable Pandora is out of the question. But what I like about the display itself, you can put it in all kinds of angles. So here you can see like this thing has quite a different way you can put it. And I think that's a pretty damn cool feature. But let's power it on. So here you can see like the battery life is not that great, so I'm going to use the charger. It's only using 10%. Over here we're going to get this very cool light up button with the coin mechanism. So that's pretty damn awesome. But the layout itself, it's the same stuff that we've seen before. But we do have 8 buttons in configuration. And that is something you don't get with every portable Pandora. but I have seen my share of, let's say, Pandora box portable displays. And this display is absolutely amazing. The viewing angle is great. So you can say like this thing has an absolutely amazing IPS display. So you're paying a lot for the device, but you're going to get a quite better display and quality in return. Okay, so when it comes to the menu, they didn't really change out a lot here. Here we're going to get the types. And with the types, we do have like the same stuff what we've seen with Pandora Game 3D. It's the same menu. Personally, I really love this menu because it's way more convenient to search through. Another thing, like they did some, let's say, changes to the layout. First of all, we're going to get different icons, and also they did some changes with some Dreamcast stuff that we'll show you later on. And yeah, so in overall, like they did some minor improvements here and there. And in my opinion, that's quite interesting. They did, so I can see, like they did remove a couple of them, like 16-bit stuff. Kind of weird. So that collection is not fully complete. When pressing start or pressing up, you can go to all games. Then we're going to get latest, and here we're going to get the search. So when it comes to this, like it still has a lot of interesting features. And yeah, when you're looking at all the other models, nothing much changed over here. The search result seems to be working just fine. The only different weird thing is like you need to press the C button to switch between menus. Normally you can go from left to right. So there are like minor things you need to get used to. But overall the menu works very well, and I personally really like it. Pressing the tiny button at the back, we're going to get into the settings. But with settings, there's not a lot of stuff you basically can change out. We do have the language, stuff like that. But when you're going to the game settings, there's nothing much over here. So video filter, we have RAW, HD, CRT option, or like scanline, and that's basically what it is. So sadly there is no aspect ratio. So that are like the minor things, they will never change. We do have turbo function that you can basically program if you like to play shmups, stuff like that. So there are some minor adjustments, but then overall it's going to be more of the same over here. Okay, the first game I wanted to try is Bloody Roar number 2. And the reason why, just to check out how good it will run on this version of Pandora. Another thing I like about this machine is that it does have amazing sound for this tiny speaker that comes inside it.
Get ready.
I didn't see any frame dips whatsoever. So let's see, when pressing the pause, that is the first thing they basically change out, and this is quite an interesting one. Okay, so with the quick load, quick save, we had some issues with the previous models. By the way, they didn't even fix it. But here we do have the option for making a quick load and quick save. And this option, so far I have seen, works for everything. Alright, so next up, N64, and I just wanted to say like N64 will always be a mixed bag, simply because they're using like low power devices. But some games like Cruise in the World will run just fine in a certain way that it will maybe like glitch or dip here and there, but they are playable. Nope. Wouldn't be the first time that it was stuck in a freaking loading display. But you can see like it isn't a very nice experience because it runs kind of weird. And also the joystick had this feeling of a delay in it. So N64, again, in my opinion, you can just basically remove it because it doesn't run that great. Holy crap, the thing goes really loud, and there was quite a lot of difference in the audio levels between all the freaking emulators. The button layout is completely messed up. Okay, the first thing I'm noticing with the Forrest edition and Sega Dreamcast, I've noticed that this works way better than the previous model. Okay, so this thing has been forced into the widescreen hack, and that's quite interesting because it runs pretty damn good. We gotta find the freaking button to punch, because everything is different from an original controller. I don't have any like slowdowns. I still get like the Dead or Alive 2 speed that we should have with this game. So you can really like, sometimes they try to manage to get something actually working. Alright, so the ultimate main test, of course. Let's play some Mortal Kombat. And I just wanted to show you, like here you can see, like we can do a quick load, quick save with the other versions I've tried. Always having the same freaking issues. Wrong button. The joystick is very responsive. But I have no idea which button to use for kicking. Here on the channel I love to do Teardown now and then, and that's what we're going to do. The only thing I need to do is remove the 3 screws at the front and 2 at the back, and if everything works to plan, I can remove everything and just show you the inside. Because I am really curious how this board looks on the inside. Alright, so the only thing that you need to do is lift this up and be very careful with all of the wires. And let's take a close look at the Pandora Forrest. And no idea how to lift this freaking thing up. Ooh. But I say, like, this is the most interesting Pandora box I have seen in the last couple of years, because they did a lot of modifications and a lot of stuff is different. Okay guys, so let's take a close look at the bottom part. So the first thing that we're going to get is the main board here, and the main board is absolutely different when you're looking at an original one. I already mentioned with the back that it's completely different and it's not your typical main board. To give you like a quick, like say, side by side, this is an original family board, already shown you before with the different connections, and this thing has some similarities. To begin with, we do have the 88 port over here, but where you can see, like, this is completely like made differently. So they went like hot glue methods with this, and I must say that it's very good that they do this, because simply because nothing can get loose, because there's a lot of connections where we normally having like a couple of them, like one for the analog switch and one for the speaker. Like over here there's an EDA cable, but everything is completely different. They even implemented a fan. It is quite loud. I cannot remove it, or I'm not going to remove it, because everything has been glued to the main board. So it's a little bit of a bummer that I can't find what, or can see what kind of chip they're using. But here you can see, like, there are a lot of different new components in here. Don't forget the board itself, because here we can see, like, we have an extra board that goes to this ribbon cable that connects the buttons at the front. It's kind of wobbly, so I'm not a big fan of this, because they should like use some extra hot glue over here to get it in position. And this side we're going to get a compartment for the batteries, and then we're going to get the speaker. The speaker is a typical one, but this thing goes way louder than your normal Pandora's box. Okay, here we're going to get the top part, and the top part basically, like, it's the same way I've seen before. We can remove the buttons and replace them with better ones if you want to, including the joystick. There are some extra ways they basically like implemented everything. There's no like basic cable tree that goes to the EDA port at the side. I mean with the EDA port like this one over here. But you're going to get like this ribbon cable. I needed to basically remove it, otherwise I couldn't like lift it up. Let's plug it back in and let's get this show rolling again. So where different brands completely mess it up, the Pandora Forrest is an improvement here and there. And yeah, that is something you don't see very often in the Pandora jungle at this moment. The case quality itself, it's completely made of metal and it weighs quite a lot. So the definition of portable, I don't know how far you need to take it. Or better said, how serious you need to take it. And overall, the button and the joystick quality is your typical one. I do like the joystick, but it's something you really need to get used to due of the long travel of the joystick. So this Pandora portable is something else, absolutely. And yeah, I personally really like it, especially when it wants a single player with an extra display attached to it. I think it's pretty damn cool. It's portable. If you don't have a lot of room, it's a really cool way to play. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Well, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.